Hi, welcome to Horror Movies and Beyond, a show about reviewing horror movies for the living to understand the dead. And I'm your host, Ivotres Littles, and I'm here with two amazing, talented guests, writer, producer, director, Amond, and writer, producer, very talented actress, Sara Zanotti.
Yes.
To talk about their supernatural horror movie, Faye. Hi, girls.
Hi, Ivotres.
How are you guys doing?
We're good.
We're good.
You know,
We're good.
Just hanging in there. How are you?
Like I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Going like I've been watching a lot of horror movies and talking about them, getting them out there, and this one came full circle. Because a year and a half ago, we talked about it was at film festivals. And now look at you girls. Like it's out there now. It's going to be in VOD, digital. Yeah. How does that feel?
It feels like we just went like Facebook official with
with
our movie. We like changed our relationship status with our movie Faye. We're like, Faye. We're committed now.
Yeah. Last night, like in the Apple TV remote, it was like, watch this. Faye movie. There's your face. Pre-order it.
I was like, oh my! It is a weird feeling. It's I don't know if my brain can wrap around that, but it's so cool. We're so excited.
Yeah.
Well, my brain is wrapping around it because it is very good. It is a creepy, fun, emotional movie. It has a really good. It has a deeper meaning. It has really good acting in it. Sara, you're amazing, especially by yourself. I mean, how difficult is that? I don't know. You did it, girl.
Thank you. That means a lot. I talk to myself literally all the time. So strangely, it felt like I was in the pocket of my own comfort.
So we're going to have to talk about this, but since it will be coming out VOD and digital, we won't give away too many spoilers. Actually, probably no spoilers because we want you guys to watch it. It is amazing. So, but what is this? What is the synopsis? You can give us a little bit of the story.
Yeah.
So Faye is a personal growth author, a very well-known one with a big social media presence, and she's grieving the loss of her husband. Meanwhile, it's been a few months, and her publisher says, you got to give us some pages or we're going to drop you. And her book is on the grieving process. So she goes to her publisher's cabin on the bayou to finish her book, and weird things start happening.
But what kind of weird things? Like, what weird things should the viewers expect? Should it be like, is it supernatural, paranormal, monsters under the bed? Like, what? Give us a little bit.
It's all of that.
It's all, yeah.
It's all of that. She's not alone in this cabin.
It's the monster in the bed.
Or is she alone? Is this all in her head?
Monster under the covers.
Is Faye losing it?
Monsters in the closet.
Monsters in the closet. Monsters in the bed. In the tub.
Monsters in the bed. In the tub. Monsters everywhere, really.
Yeah.
Low-key think we might have haunted this cabin that we actually shot it at. Some weird
in real
stuff
life
happened. Yes. Some weird stuff because sorry, Aunt Lori. We filmed it at Katie's aunt's cabin. We had a Ouija board, for one of the scenes, and some weird stuff started happening after that. And we were like, we gotta burn this place to the ground.
Wow.
When we left, we were like prayer circles and just being
clear it out.
Like, we come in peace.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make art.
There was literally a scene where Sara was at the table and we had a light, like a 600 watt, like airy light or whatever, on a C-stand on the balcony on the loft of the cabin, and it just falls.
It fell. Well, like the light fell and
yeah.
the entire, so everybody left the room. It was dark in there. We were trying to, I don't know, like save power or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting at the head of the table, like the little kitchen table that Faye writes at. And this light just all of a sudden, like no movements going on in the house. It just goes, and the spotlight right on me.
Yeah.
It was I was like,
like the balcony caught it, but it was just like, light on Sara.
Yeah.
I think you summoned something for real when you were spinning around.
It was creepy. Yeah.
But it was a beautiful cabin.
It was great. A lot of wood.
The scenery was
it's a great place.
beautiful. Where was this shot?
That's in Bayou Lacombe in Louisiana. It's on the North Shore of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks very peaceful.
It is. It's really quiet out there, except that we drove up and there was construction going on.
Yeah. So then that became a part of the movie.
This is in the movie now.
We were like, production value? Okay.
Yeah. Use what you can. It's free.
Exactly. Yeah.
This film really touches on something serious, though. You know, the steps of grieving, the 5 steps of grieving as well. You see Faye just battling what was going on, you know, in her personal life, where she's trying to, you know, go to this cabin, escape, and, you know, get back to her writing, get back to everything. But it slowly revealed what she was trying to hide, what she was trying to forget. And I think this film would speak to a lot of people, because we all do that. Like, you're like, oh, I'll just sweep it under the rug, but it starts eating at you. But you know, fortunate for real life, we don't have something manifesting to it's like scary as hell like in here, but it is similar in some ways. How being there by yourself and going through these, you could see you do it, Sara. Your facial expressions, the way you were handling the situation, you could see the 5 stages of grief, from your body language to your face to your demeanor, how you see the film progress through you. How did you get into those different ones as you progressed?
You know, I mean, so much of the dialogue that we had written when we wrote the script, you know, a lot of times what you're saying, what you're speaking out loud can sort of conjure up those feelings inside. At least it does for me as an actor. So sometimes simply the dialogue. But, you know, I as just speaking as an actor, I just find it however I can find it. I don't have like a particular method that I stick to all the time. I just kind of know, you know, and we've all experienced grief to some degree. And so I've been in each of those 5 stages in my real life. And so sometimes if I can just really tap into the essence however I can, and then let it take over my body, and then, you know, go from there. But I don't know, it's an intuitive process for sure. And I guess just surrendering to it is really the...
Did you reach to any inspiration or any thoughts of anything, maybe real life or or something you've seen, to tap in those moments?
To those moments, you know, actually, while we were making Faye, I really thought I was Faye. Like I'm not a method actor per se, like that's not necessarily what I go through, but I really do have a very vivid imagination. So when I was imagining Jacob, I really felt like I was imagining my husband. And so, yeah, I started to just form this weird relationship with that. And then I'm sure in my body somewhere, you know, whatever feelings that I have from my actual life and personal experiences, that those come through, and they just go through the filter of whatever circumstance I've chosen to believe is my reality. I don't know if any of that made sense, but yeah, I'm sure the moments in my life where I've hardcore grieved the loss of something or someone, that those feelings are in my body somewhere. and then they come up when they need to. And if I'm fully believing that I am Faye and that I have lost someone, that they came up, you know.
Yeah, you know, the first time I seen it, it was like amazing, and the third time I've seen it, I watched it twice. Today, well, yesterday, today, when I was thinking about it, and it just really brought back memories of things I've lost. Like, it just really pulls you in. And the scary part about it is sometimes you feel like the person is there, but it's really yourself that's looking at yourself, trying to cope what is really going on in your life. And sometimes you want to forget. And I think Faye, that's pretty scary. That's hauntingly scary, that you have to actually face what is bothering you. And that scares the shit out of everybody. People want to cover that up, and it's like, in this movie you see what is scaring her, you see why she's in denial, you see why she's angry, and it's like, it's terrifying, and it's sad, and it's just all these emotions that she brings. And that's why I really do love Faye, because it touched on something that you don't see very often, and I think it needs to be discovered. And I think this film will do that. It will open the door for other things. There's other stories out there. We don't have to keep doing remakes and reboots and whatever. We have the stories. We need to do them. And Faye does that. And that's just the most awesome thing that you guys have created.
Thank you. That means so much. And you're right. It's like, you know, processing through emotion is scary. It is sometimes, and sometimes it feels like you're not going to make it out on the other side. You know, it truly can feel like a horrific experience to grieve.
Yeah, it definitely was in this film. I was like, whoa, okay, okay. She opened the door, it's like, whoa, it's like, okay. And then that's also what I like. You get to see what it is that's haunting her. You get closer and closer. First it's outside, and it moves in, and then when you finally reveals, it's just it's terrifying, and it's heartbreaking. It's like, oh my goodness, we've all been through this, and we get to see it like in the flesh on screen. And so what was the inspiration when writing this? Like, what was like the core, you know what, we got to put this on paper?
I think okay, so Sara wanted to make a movie starring only her. and I said, okay, because, you know, we were in pre-pro for another movie, and so we literally just wrote the script for Faye.
I promise I'm not a narcissist. And by my own definition.
And I was like, okay, what if we make her an author, like a self-help author who needs help? There is this famous author, I'm not going to call names, but we kind of make fun of her sometimes. And she crashed really hard publicly. And we kind of took some of her book titles and inspired by, like, you know, they're not her titles. We just like kind of took the same method of making titles and showed a self-help author or a personal growth author like crash and burn. It's like, what if we took someone who is supposed to be all together and just like in the public, and then we broke them. And then I think at some point in the writing process, like I just got the idea for the 5 stages of grief and putting them in, dividing the movie up into chapters, and she's an author. And I think I just texted Sara at like 2 a.m. and I was like, 5 stages of grief, 5 chapters. And she's like, yeah. So then like after that, we were writing with a purpose. It's like we were writing the denial section. We were writing the anger part, you know? And yeah, I think we had the beginning and the end, and then just fleshed it out.
Yeah. And black box monologues, those were fun to do. At the time too, she had just read the Duplass brothers book, and I've always been obsessed with them, and we love the movie Creep. So we were like, we could maybe pull off making a movie with, you know, whatever cameras we have, our phones and limited actors in one location. Like we just were like, we could do this. And so that kind of gave us that was an inspiration just in terms of like how we could get it done with such a small scale. And then the movie Bronson was also kind of an influence with Tom Hardy. Just structurally, he's got kind of similar to our black box monologues, but he's got these moments where he's like speaking to a crowd as though it's like a one-man show.
Yeah, he's dressed up like a clown on a stage.
Yeah, so we had some influences. Storyline-wise, not as much, but structurally.
Yeah. Structurally, more influences, yeah.
You know, what I wrote down something that really stuck out to me. And when when you're watching Faye, it starts off with, you know, her getting in the car and then she's like talking. And at first you're thinking, oh, there's someone there. And then it's like, wait. Okay. So you have this feeling like she's crazy. It's like, okay, It's no clue. But as it progresses, is she? You know, it questions your sanity as you're watching this. And then as it's flipping through her at the cabin, she's having these monologues, her self-help monologues, as if she's talking, you know, to an audience about the truth. Like that's the true feeling, and what she's going through is what was going through at that point in her life when it was like, you know, like everything seemed to be failing based on some tragedy that went on in her life. And there was something she said when she brought up the story of Halloween and Laurie Strode, like how, you know, she escaped from in the closet. But, you know, is she really the survivor? But there was something that she said, when you're going through traumatic things, is like surviving isn't fun. Surviving isn't fun. When you survive a tragic, horrific, horrible moment, just as Faye did in the film, it's like you're constantly have to fight yourself. You constantly have to figure out, do I want to face what's bothering me, or do I just want to shut it out? But then it manifests and becomes, you know, it starts eating at you. It starts taking over. And you see that in Faye. You know, we all talk to ourselves, but the extent of the trauma, we're not 100% sure, but it's slowly, you start seeing this character, you start seeing this image. What is it? Who is it? But it kind of looks like her, kind of don't. It's dark. You're not sure what it is. Is the cabin haunted? Is she crazy? Is she haunted? Are we crazy? Did we see this? I mean, there was so many things going on, and it's one of those films that reveal at the very end. Like you're forced to watch it, and believe me, it's a good force. You're forced to watch this and understand what is going on, because when it sums it up, you have to have paid attention the whole way through. And it doesn't lose your, even though you're by yourself, Sara, it's not boring. It's not just a repeat thoughts that you're saying over and over. You see your descent. That's what's pretty awesome about this film. And when she said that, me suffering from trauma growing up, you're constantly surviving as if, oh, you're okay now. No, you still have to fight yourself from revealing the dark part. And Faye, you could see her fighting herself, you know, trying to get out. The door's locking, the image is looking through. I mean, it was just like, whoa. So becoming Faye, Sara, is there a point where you said that you were Faye, but was it of a point that it was hard to get out of Faye during this film?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if during the filming process, well, so getting into Faye was an interesting experience because, like we said, we had just wrapped our first movie 2 days before. So I was a completely different character just 48 hours previous to stepping into Faye's world. So But I do have some sort of like awareness around that. I never completely like I'll stay in kind of the same almost like energy orb the whole time that we're filming something. I myself when we call cut, but there's still a tether to that. So I'm sure that bits of her lingered with me for a while. I mean, because your body also doesn't know the difference. Mm-hmm. Like when you are, conjuring up those kinds of feelings inside, your body is in fight or flight. Your body releases the same chemicals that it does when you're actually experiencing those things in life. So I think when we wrapped, there was a little bit of like, oh, I've got to recover now from this. Like, I have grieved all week, like just constantly. But it was also super cathartic. Little bits of Faye lingered probably with me for a little bit, at least in a physical way. But yeah, it's also, that's the kind of stuff I live for. Like to be able to really feel like I'm doing something truthful. That's why when you say that you've had some grief and trauma and loss in your life, and that you watch this movie and you can see that is embodied in me in a truthful way that you relate to, like that's like I couldn't be given a better compliment, because that's the whole goal. I just want to do the truth. So in some ways, like I end, and even though my body is wrecked, I'm like, yes, we did it.
Well,
It's gratifying.
That's great
too.
acting, though. That's
Thank you.
That's just you. You're good. You're good. You're great.
Thank
You're
you.
Perfect.
You're perfect. Never change, but change.
Yeah. So, Katie, as far as the visual of how did you set the stage for that? What was the goal on your part for the audience to follow?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Faye was that knowing that it was one person the entire time, we had to have a scare like every 10 minutes tops, if not more. So I think filming it, we for the most part shot it in order. It's a matter of like just keeping the mood like kind of light and casual at first. So, I knew there was going to be jump cuts all over this movie to save time, but movement was very important. And so when things are about to get dark, there's always sudden movement or like a flash or like the lights flicker or something like that. But, visually, I think the most important part of the film, and working with what we had, like as far as cameras and lights, we had like just a few, we borrowed some lights from a friend of mine, and it was Sara de la Haya was on the other camera, and the two of us just danced. It was just important to keep it moving the entire time, physically and literally. But
Faye on sticks
would have been
terrible.
Not possible. I think the only thing that we put a tripod on was the monologues. Because it was, and then, like visually, I think I was just using some of the age-old techniques. Like the more intense we get, the closer we get, as something creepy's happening, we're out, but we're pushing in, that kind of thing, That's Hitchcock. Back to the basics.
Little time Hitchcock.
I love Back to the Basics because they I call them
work.
like it does. It really does. And this film had the basics. It had the story. It had the concept. It had everything. Even though by yourself, which is very, very difficult, I believe, in some parts, because you're mostly interacting with yourself or the camera. I mean, there's nothing there. Using your own imagination, and just keeping focus on what needs to be done for the audience to understand, to follow, and get what is coming, and scare the hell out of them at the same time. And Faye did all that.
Yeah.
So, but before we end this, the Ouija board, that when anytime you see that in the film, you know it ain't going to be good.
Oh yeah.
Especially the condition that Faye was in when that came out. I was like,
not a good choice, Faye. We're not making grounded choices.
Poor
here.
choices.
Yeah. Poor choices.
Poor choices.
That's an extreme poor choice.
Yes.
Yes.
So she's just challenging Captain Howdy as she's walking around drinking. She's like, "Let's go."
What is it? That just struck a nerve. Captain Howdy. What did I think?
Exorcist.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
So many movies in my life.
Yeah. No worries.
I know.
You're like, I know this.
That's scary. Yeah. I was like, I know it's scary. Let me see. I see all the names. I'd be like, it's that one.
You'd have picked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea of bringing the Ouija board, whose idea was that? Because that really brought the film to a height of something terrifying that's about to happen, because those are scary visually. You could just look, you could have just set it there and just like, oh crap, but it moved and everything else. So
I mean, well, going off of like Exorcist and a bunch of like the Possession and Exorcist movies, we're such horror fans that, you know, some of those OG films, they start out with a couple of kids just playing around with a Ouija board, and
we never learn,
you know. I don't remember. I think writing process
again, it was probably just a tool, just another like classic horror trope, because Faye, something that it does is it plays on like a ton of tropes. This is another cabin in the woods movie, but it's different. You know, it's a Ouija board, it's a paranormal movie, but again, it's different, you know? So it's like when you just say, you know, an author goes to an isolated cabin to finish their book, we've seen that before, but more happens to Faye, and there's like deeper layers to it. So I think the Ouija board was probably just kind of another little homage to the genre, you know? We were like, let's throw that in there. It also gives you a way to try and communicate. It's a desperate form of communication with the dead.
You're right about that. About I love that it's very familiar, even though it's different. Because if you go old school, if you remember the movie House, it was an author who wanted to get away, and everything just went wrong. But that was more of a comedy. This touches on a serious element. And it's scary. That one was just comical and funny, but it's there, but different. And that's what I really do enjoy. But I want to say thank you guys. I am so excited for this. I mean, it's like a year and a half ago we were talking about it, but now it's like going to be digital. I just like added them all together.
And digital.
There it is. Making it.
Yeah. I can see that coming. See,
These
that's an
hybrid
idea.
words.
They're going to steal that. They're going to steal.
They are. You heard it here first. We got to copyright
go
this.
Trademark it.
Yes.
Digital. It's yours.
I'm saying we, like we said it too.
Yeah.
So May 10th, this come out VOD and digital, US and Canada. And then later all over the world, right? Or UK? Or?
It's releasing in the UK first.
Yeah, May 9th.
Oh, they
is
always
the UK.
I know.
Yeah, they're on top of it.
It's going to be in Blockbuster in Denmark, which we
exciting?
are just geeking out about because huge
Really?
Blockbuster gals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, like Blockbuster streams over there. Like Netflix is our biggest streamer. Blockbuster is their biggest streaming service.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we saw Faye on the Blockbuster.de website, and I was like,
we feel like a couple of really cool cats because of the Blockbuster thing.
Wow. That is awesome. And it's such a perfect setting for this too. Blockbuster.
Yes. Blockbuster.
So yeah, you guys have to check this out when it comes out May 10th here in the US. And it is scary, it is haunting, it's just paranormal, it's supernatural, it's different. It touches on feelings and emotions. It's just everything. It touches on everything. So it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone
There you go.
will have a part in this because it's just amazing. Amazing job, girls. Amazing work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ivotres. And I think you might have, when we met like a year and some ago, I think that was our first ever sit down.
Yeah, it
about,
was.
About one of our movies.
About yeah.
I think so. We might have done a podcast
maybe
on a friend or something like that. But yeah, so this really is full circle. This is very
totally
exciting for us.
Awesome,
so thank you for having us back.
You're welcome. But I just have to ask, how did it get from our conversation a year and a half ago to this amazing? Oh my gosh!
It's a fun story.
Ivotres,
here's how
tequila. Tequila.
That's true.
So Katie took a couple shots of very bougie tequila, I'll say.
Yeah,
we bought a California number.
It was a Nichole.
So that we could feel like, I don't know,
like
a couple
maybe
industry
we're doing
cats.
this in LA.
Just really in our skyrise office in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But Katie picked up the phone and dialed from our fake number, a distributor or a sales agent who, like, her friend was like, I've heard of this guy. He picks up the phone. His name is Jeff. And he goes, what did I win? And we were like,
that's our guy.
2 new best friends is who you won, Jeff. Anyways, because of a little bit of tequila confidence,
I just pitched him Faye, and I was like, listen, this is the first one-woman movie ever made in America. We shot it on a phone. People should see it because it's what you can do with 3 friends and a really talented actor.
And Jeff,
he was like,
you know what?
Send me a screener.
He goes, send me some links. AFM is this week, so if I get any bites, maybe I'll take it on, maybe I won't.
Yeah, and he had a bite the next day.
So we went from there.
Yeah.
And we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants.
Mm-hmm.
In a similar fashion to making
story.
That's
the true story. Wow.
That's how it happened.
That's it. So, for anybody listening,
it sounds like a pitch for a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Visually, you can see that, and then all these things happen.
Yeah.
And then oh wow, now that's an amazing story.
It's like, all right, here we go.
So for anybody listening, go get yourself some añejo.
Have some añejo.
Get on that.
Be really confident. Talk about your movie like you're talking to your best friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, guys, they're the ones. They're the ones. I can't wait to see what else they have because that's pretty ballsy.
No.
That was pretty awesome. So, but thank you guys so much, Katie and Sara. You guys are amazing. You guys out there have to check out Faye. It comes out May 10th here in the U.S. It'll be on VOD and digital. You got to see it. You got to sit out, get you a drink, get you some food, and enjoy. Watch it in the dark. It's scarier.
Watch it.
There it is.
I want to, before we go, I want to just shout out our crew because there's only 3 of them and they were so good. That was Nichole Lim, Sara De La Haya, and Christopher Martin, and they literally did everything. Everyone wore 14 hats.
Yes.
And they're so talented, and we're just really appreciative.
Just for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys want more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I will have their information down below, so you could follow them. And I will also have the date when this movie comes out. So because you have to check it out. You have to check it out. So thank you guys so much, and thank you girls for coming on here and talking about Faye.
Thanks, Ivotres.